The Tangent Egg podcast is aimed at a mature audience. It contains themes that are not appropriate for all listeners. It's important to note that we are not experts. We routinely have no idea what we're talking about and are just three idiots sitting around a table. Listener discretion is advised.
Welcome to the Tangent Egg podcast. I'm Seth, and as always is with me Dan and Swoosh, and we are starting out by talking about the goddamn travesty that happened in Australia.
Hello.
It's horrible. Also, hi. We've
Fuck
lost
your
our cultural
intros.
icon.
It
This
is a
important shit
national
happening.
fucking tragedy. An absolute national tragedy. On the lines with Tim Tams being fucking made smaller. It's
That was
absolute
treason in
fucking
of itself.
disgrace. It was. It really was. To
Same
cutting down
company,
on the
too.
Tim Tam slam, that's a straight out Australian tradition. And now Arnott's just continues the fuckery.
So,
Yeah.
Arnott has decided to discontinue the Classics Assorted Pack, which has been a staple of families for fucking ever.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Every tea party, every fucking little cup of tea, you go to grandma's place, she's got a fucking Arnott's Assorted right fucking there. And you're gonna cherry pick the Kingstons. Everyone's got their favourite out of it. Like, I don't know anyone that doesn't look at that pack and go, fucking, that one there. That's the golden one.
Everyone has that special one. It's great. But now...
They've fucking gutted it. They've completely removed Australian tradition. They've completely discontinued it. And not only that, they're releasing a new fucking high tea favourites with shitty biscuits.
It's only
Shittier biscuits, less biscuits.
It's
and
only got-
more expensive.
It's got two good biscuits in it. Like
Yeah.
I'll give
Two.
that. It's still
that
got
they took from the old pack.
Yeah,
Like-
it's got the Scotch Fingers and the Monte Carlos, which are both excellent biscuits.
Oh, they're
Not
both
that-
top tier bickies, right?
Not
there.
that anyone has ever shared a Scotch Finger in their life.
No,
God,
that's
no,
just
that's-
two fucking bickies for me. Like,
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
right.
the only reason you share a Scotch Finger is I've got a two bicky set and you've got a two bicky set. That's it.
Yeah.
No one's ever
We're
cracked a
trading
Scotch
bickies.
Finger and said, "Here's half of my bicky." Fuck off.
And I got to agree with John Doe. The only thing you do with a Scotch Fingers is you grind a little off onto your tea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You got to crack them. Then there's a rough edge. You got to grind it smooth. You grind that straight over your coffee. There's a little bit of malt on the top of your coffee, a bit of foam. Fuck yeah, that's the
Hell
shit.
yeah.
It goes
But-
hard. Like,
And like I'm a big fan of Monte Carlos. Those are some pretty delish bickies.
Oh yeah.
And what did they
Because
add
you're
in?
touching.
And like we had like Kingston's and Chalky Chip Bickies, and I can't remember what the other bickies.
They had the chocolate cream.
what
They
was
had
it?
vanilla cream. The little square
Yeah.
vanilla creams.
Yeah.
they were pretty good.
So, sorry, it's three bickies from the original
And,
Classics pack because
and-
they have
and
the
it-
shortbread cream.
Oh,
Yeah,
good.
and they had like an Anzac knockoff in there as well.
Yeah, yeah. I couldn't
weren't
remember
bad.
what it
They're not
was,
straight
'cause-
out Anzacs, but they're not
Yeah.
bad. They'll tide you over till the next Anzac day.
Well, I mean, they actually suited the fact that they were in a bicky pack. You know, they're actually hard, whereas Anzac
Yeah.
biscuits are often
It
quite
should
soft.
be chewy. Should be
Yeah.
good and chewy.
Chewy to last you longer.
So
Yeah.
now the high tea favorites pack just contains the Scotch Fingers, the Monte Carlos, and the shortbread creams. And then they added in the raspberry shortcake, which is the one with the little tiny dollop of raspberry jam in the middle. And it's like, come on.
I have
No,
never
that's-
met anyone whose favourite is that thing.
No,
Like-
no one.
Like,
They're good if you're like at an event and they're having a tea, like a fucking high tea kind of thing, and you
Yeah.
you load your plate up with them. But no one's gonna go out and buy a pack to take those fuckers home.
No.
Like,
I just
they're
realised
selling a
this-
farly less superior product. Like,
this product is the group projects of biscuit packs. There's
Oh,
three
yeah.
people who know what they're doing, and one fuckwit in the corner going, I'm a part of the group.
you do it, and I'll put my name on it at the end. Fuck
Yeah.
off, Steve.
I mean, it really is like I am disappointed with you, Arnott's, and I like Arnott's because I used to work in their biscuit factory.
Yeah.
It was a great place to work, but like, come on, guys, like, don't
See,
mess with our.
This is
bickies.
what happens when you're no longer Australian owned.
Yeah.
They just give up on the good shit. Like
We should have
the
sold
mob
them
that
off.
bought them a fucking an investment firm from America, which says a lot. But they don't know the fucking like the history of Arnott's. They don't know how fucking popular this thing is. They just look at it and go, "Oh well, we can like sell this other packet for more money with less in it. We can make more profit."
Oh yeah, that's
You
the
gotta
other
sell a fuckload
fucking,
less.
That is the fucking kicker on this. The original Classics pack was $4.50. Nice, cheap variety pack of bickies. Someone's
Fucking
got something.
well worth it. You got $5 you need to go to grandma's. There's your fucking bickies right there.
Yeah,
Mickey's done, and you're the best grandson ever.
damn right.
Fucking oath.
This new pack with less variety of biscuits in it, and one biscuit that shouldn't even be in the fucking pack is $6.
That's a fucking disgrace.
I don't think that anyone who does not live in Australia, if they ever listen to this cast, is like, what the fuck are these guys on about? Like,
Look, you don't
they
get
took away our biscuits, man.
the Arnott's biscuits are just like as you say, they're an icon in Australia, and
Yeah.
I mean I can only speak for having lived in Queensland for most of my life that everyone buys Arnott's biscuits.
Like, even you go to grandma's place and you see the biscuit tin, the tin that's normally got fucking sewing supplies in it. All the biscuits in that are long fucking gone. It's been refilled that many times with an Arnott's classic pack.
yeah,
Like, uncountable classic packs have gone through that one fucking tin.
yeah,
The ghost of classic pack past.
yeah.
Oh, and no more. Now just...
Yeah. It's a solemn day for Australia.
It is.
Look,
it is.
The big question though is now how long before they come for the family pack?
Oh.
Oof. Oh, that's...
Because they decided that the classics pack was not selling well enough, which is why they did this. So, how long before they come for our family pack? How am I supposed to get my giant teddy bears?
Ugh. That big ass teddy bear.
At least the family pack doesn't really have creams in it. So, like,
Yeah.
they can save a bit of cash there. So they're just making a sheet of Bicky and cookie cutting out of it. That's
Yeah.
pretty much what they're doing for a lot of those. It's all the same fucking Bicky in different shapes. So they can make them on the fucking cheap. Worst comes to worst, they're going to up the price on those bastards because you can't get the pack you want.
Yeah.
Which
Or they'll
is
split
just
them off into,
fucking
like-
shit.
Yeah, they'll split them off into a smaller thing or a smaller variety.
I mean, I would not be
Split it
surprised
in
if for whatever reason your biscuit of choice is Kingston. It wouldn't surprise me if those are going to get a little more pricey.
Oh, and you'll get less in a packet. They'll do the same thing I did with Tim Tams.
when they improve, they spaced out them more. It's like they added more of that space.
Less
Like,
in
that
a
was
pack
big
and
move.
jacked up the price.
They were trying
And
to
they've
make
been
it
doing it-
easier for you to remove the bickies from the tray.
I like
Fuck
that
off.
story.
That's a fucking disgrace.
It's just like the same thing with Toblerone because they increased the space between it so that you
peaks.
could crack
Yeah.
them better. But it's like you cut out Toblerone. What are you doing?
Right. If,
And then there was Pringles.
Toblerone. If you're going to separate those fucking peaks to make it easier to snap off, you should have made it 3 peaks fucking longer.
Yeah,
Yeah.
If that was your fucking reasoning for it, you should have removed that chocolate and added it on the arse end.
Yeah.
But no,
slightly
of
longer
fucking course
Toblerones.
not.
Fuck yeah.
Exactly. Same as Tim Tams. Make them fucking 2 Bicky packs longer. Shit.
Yeah. Be great.
But you'll also notice, like, the flavoured fucking Tim Tams, they've normally only got between 8 and 9 Bickies in them, where the plain ones have got fucking 11 to 14, depending on the pack you get. I know my Bickies. Hey. Which is just fucking shit in itself. Like, if you're going to buy a flavoured pack, there's 8 in. You got 3 people, like, if there's you, your missus, and a kid there, that's not an even split.
No.
No.
Like, and then you're going to end up with a fight of who took the last fucking Tim Tam. I've only had one.
Every time.
That's
without
just
fail.
bullshittery right there.
Yeah.
If you haven't noticed, biscuits are, top tier shit in Australia.
Oh, yeah.
They are part of the culture. You go to grandma's
Yeah.
place and the Bicky, like, if the Bickies aren't there, that's not tea time. That's just a
That-
cup of tea and fuck off.
That must go from colonial times and all they had was bickies. Like we need to survive. Bickies. Because basically that's what hardtack and stuff tended to be. Biscuits you could take on a ship for God knows how long. So it's like,
Well,
what do we have?
That's what Anzac biscuits are. They
Yeah.
made a biscuit that could survive going all the way to fucking Europe from Australia.
But come
like,
on. Anzac
Since our
Bickies is
country's
top tier.
inception, we've had bickies and tea. That was formed by the English. It's ingrained in all of us.
There's
Even the
nothing-
criminals from England wanted bickies and tea.
But I mean, there's nothing quite like Anzac biscuits, at least not that I've ever had. That weird
No.
mix of soft and solid, like the edges are kind of crunchy,
Crunchy
but
and
the
then
middle's
chewy
nice
in the
and
middle.
chewy.
With
They
like,
are a
all the
non-Newtonian
molasses and fucking golden syrup all the way through it. Fuck yeah.
And they're so simple, aren't they? I can't remember, man.
It's basically just like golden syrup
Well,
and
they
oats.
were meant to. They're made with like ration packs, like stuff you
Yeah.
could get in rationing at the time, and they could get these simple ingredients in bulk, make a fuckload of bickies, and then send them over to the husband, son, whoever the fuck it is fighting in the trenches. You're sitting in the trenches. You've got fucking bullets whizzing over you. You get a fucking pack of bickies. I'm at home, straight there. Two-handed bickies.
Oh.
Fuck yeah.
Actually, no. There is a certain food for every nationality that transports them home, no matter where the fuck they are. I know this because I found the one for Brazil, and those kinds of areas. A few of the people I've met through like running around Brisbane are Brazilian, and my family happens to grow a random tree which is like has a fruit called the japoticaba, is what we call it. Butchering the language horribly, and I'm sorry to anyone from there who heard that. But you give like a bag of those to someone from Brazil who's living in Australia, and it's like, how do they taste? Like my childhood. Oh shit, fair. Because they're like $50 a kilo to get them in Australia. Like, they are imported, but they are rare. And Anzac bickies do that to any Australian abroad. If you find an Australian out in the wild and give them an Anzac biscuit, you have a friend for fucking life there.
Well,
it's like Scooby snacks for fucking Australians.
Anzac's, Vegemite, Tim Tams.
Yeah. And, like, I don't really care. Like, America keeps saying it's got, like, fancy bickies on lockdown. Get out of here. Tim Tams, kick your ass.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. There is no fucking bicky that rivals a Tim Tam. At all. Like, apparently the Poms have got fucking penguins, that are the fuck they are. They sound like shit.
No,
Tim Tams all the way.
I've had penguins. I'm going to say it right here, and I don't care how controversial it fucking is. They're nothing. They're fucking scrub food.
Like,
I know a couple of
English.
I have a couple of English guys who work with me at work, and they gave me some, and I'm like, nah, get the fuck out of here. Don't give me this trash. I'm going to go buy Tim Tams.
Yeah. Right. And you've got grades of Tim Tam, like is you plain, then you double coat. Double coat for a Tim Tam Slam, straight out.
Oh, yeah.
There is nothing better.
I mean, you need it for the integrity of the biscuit.
Yeah. You do. You need that second coat of chocolate just to hold the
enough.
fucking thing together. It gives you that half-second extra you had to jam the whole fucking thing in.
I maintain those biscuits were made simply because someone at the factory was like, I keep losing half the bicky in the coffee. Yeah, we're fixing this today. Walks out on the floor.
Right, put them back through again. We're making a tougher bicky.
You call that a chocky bicky? I'll fucking show you a chocky bicky.
I swear, that's where most brands get their innovation from. It has to be the break room of the company. It's like, they walked out, I was like, what are these? We made them on our lunch break. We double coded them. Like, come to the next board meeting. You're hired. Here you go.
I'm certain that's where a lot of the specialty burgers from Mickey D's and Hungry Jack's come from.
Yeah.
It's just staff on their lunch break going, fuck, I'm going to make me a burger. What the fuck is that? I call it this. It's on the specials board next week, boy.
I am guaranteeing that's where the double down came from.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Without a doubt.
I mean, even other stuff like the Stacker Burger. What did you have for lunch today? Oh, man, I just got 2 Zinger fillers and just slapped them together on a bun.
Yeah.
Or
it was great.
That, what was it, KFC? There's no fucking bun. It's just 2 bits of chicken.
Yeah, the double down.
Yeah, the double down. Or the whole thing is like, oh, what'd you do? We added a hash brown to it. Like, oh, where'd that come from? We noticed a bunch of like customers were just ordering a hash brown, then mashing it on top. So we figured, fuck it, we'll save them time.
Well, I worked at Mickey D's for about 3 fucking years, and I never did one brekkie shift. And I got turned up there. I never got told there were extra boxes of meat in the fucking freezers. So I went in there, got told to do a run of Big Macs. So I cooked them with the first meat I put my hands on, which was the fucking sausage meat. So I did a run of like 10 Big Macs with the fucking sausage meat. And they sold straight out, and then they had people coming back asking for Big Macs with fucking sausage meat.
Man, that sounds fucking amazing.
Well, it was Big Mac, but that little bit extra spice and kick to it instead of just flavoured salt and pepper.
See, like, I'm not a big fan of the sausage patties at Mickey D, but with all the other Big Mac fixings, that sounds amazing.
It really do.
I've been back a few times. Like, when I worked there on a lunch break, that was my fucking go-to. Go into the freezer to get the fucking breakfast meats out and then make your own fucking burger. And you'd make the biggest burger you can, then put it in a fillet of fish thing, because no one ever orders a fillet of fish. Then go out on your break, say, I'd like that fillet of fish. It's been sitting there for a while, but it's fucking literally packed in there and near taped closed.
Brilliant. Amazing. But from one travesty to another, Overwatch is doing more dumb shit.
I swear to God, it wants to die. It just wants seppuku. It hates itself.
The weirdest thing is, like, some of the retailers are still selling the original game. Like,
they are,
that's
which is
fucked up.
just they should have recalled the original when they killed it. Pretty much, they should have told their suppliers, right, anyone that's got that needs to send the fucking thing back.
The big question is, I mean, again, we're three fucking plebs in Australia. Did they do that? Did they actually do that? But the stores were like, we're gonna make some money.
I mean, who knows at this point?
Who's going to have to face those fucking complaints? You go down to your local EB Games, like, your kid says, hey, I want Overwatch for fucking Christmas. You don't know it's a fucking free-to-play game, so you go down to the local EB Games or Big W, whatever the fuck you got near, and you say, oh, there's Overwatch on the shelf. I'm going to fucking buy that. Like, you get home, and for Christmas, your kid cracks his shits because this is a game that cannot be played at all.
Apparently,
I would
completely
like
kill
the
the
fucking service for it.
Apparently what
you're
it
gonna go back
does...
to Big Dub. You're going to chew them the fuck out.
Yeah.
Apparently what it does is it'll install and then just point you at Overwatch 2.
Yeah.
So it's not even like you put the disc in and it goes, sorry man, this isn't a thing, go play Overwatch 2. It lets you install the fucking game on the PlayStation. Well, the example we have in this article.
Downloads. If you've got a set number of fucking downloads, you've just burned a chunk of that for literally nothing. You can't even play the fucking
Australia.
Yeah. Fuck. But
so
like,
they should have been there should have been a recall notice. Like, there shouldn't have been the option for anyone to buy it. They could have come out and told EB Games, right, all your copies of Overwatch, send them back. Put them in the landfill, whatever the fuck you do.
This is my point, though. Like, I don't know if they did issue that and these retailers just went, fuck it, we're going to make some money.
The thing is, like, they would have to push that kind of hard. Like, that relies on your sales team not being shit. Because most salespeople who actually work at EB or that kind of thing want people to come back, and they don't want them to be shitty because they'll come and yell at them. So they'd be like, oh, there's Overwatch. Like, I'm going to get that for my kids. Like, no. Just go and download Overwatch 2. It's fine.
Yeah, but places with stuff like that wouldn't have even put it on the shelf.
Yeah.
And
well, they would, but
anyone with a competent person who remotely knows fucking video games would say, don't buy this. Don't. Yeah. It's free to play. Go out there and fucking download it.
Even if corporate's like, it must be on the shelves. Like, alright, it'll be on the fucking shelves. I'm not going to sell it to anyone.
Most of the screenshots and stuff I've seen of people who found these in the wild, they're at big box stores.
Yeah. And those guys, their staff don't care.
You know, Big Dub, Kmart, Target.
But they can still do a fucking product recall. Like, anything else that's got a fault with it, they're told to take it off the shelf. It goes off the fucking shelf.
And they can do it themselves. Like, they could write this off as a loss and gain most of it back through tax.
Yeah.
But they could make more money if they just sell it.
I mean, theoretically, but at the same time, Overwatch has been going for like $10 here,
for
even
a while
in Australia.
Now.
Yeah, like, they'd make more money going back and trying to claim it on tax because they can claim the original cost price.
Either you fucking, shitty little $10, or some mother who's just bought this game for their kid. Now the kid's fucking complaining, so the mother's going to come back and chew your fucking ass out. Like, it's not worth the $10, really.
It really isn't. Like,
I agree with you on that.
Who knows? It's just fucking dumb.
Yeah. I mean, that being said, Overwatch 2 is doing particularly great right now because they did a big revamp on how they do matchmaking. And they don't use they scrapped their entire old system and went more for the, bronze, silver, diamond ranking thing. Yeah, they've been putting pros against noobs.
So you don't even need to make another account to Smurf. You don't need
Smurf account anymore. It's great. No. Maybe that's why they did. Like, oh man, we finally got rid of Smurf accounts. Wait, we got rid of Smurf accounts. Ah, fuck! All these people who are high-end players are not going to play our thing because they can't Smurf now.
There's a bit of code where your first 3 games of the week against fucking noobs. No matter what rank you are, you put back at the bottom of the pile for your first 3 games, and then that rebalances you back up.
Well, I mean, pros have been getting shitty about the whole new thing anyway because it obfuscates a lot of their progress. Before, you could really easily see when your ranks were going up and down. Now you get an update. I think it's every... it's been a while since I read the article. I think it was every 10 games or 7 losses. No, 15 losses. It was more losses than wins. You get an update on your rank. But there's nothing in between. So you don't know how well you're doing in progress toward one direction or the other. It's completely obfuscated now.
That's just fucking dickish. Like, for a game that's meant to be that fucking popular, like
I
to
swear
not
to
have
God.
features is just fucking stupid.
Like,
It's-
I played a lot of it at least back when it first came out, but I'm not even touching 2.
Neither am I. I swear to God, it's just. It feels like Blizz is just trying to burn down the stable before they get burnt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, it's...
Bought. Fuck.
It's one of those weird things like, you can have this, but we're gonna fucking light it all on fire. Like, why? Just... Why?
Just a lot of their general staff are probably Microsoft spies and just run the place into the ground to make it fucking cheap.
Yeah, drop the share price down.
But even if that's what you were planning to do, all you're doing is hurting the products that you're getting. Just because you get them cheap, if they're all like dirt now, then they weren't even worth the money you paid for them.
No, then they can roll in with the redemption arc. Like, oh, no, now that we have it, we can fix it for
Yeah,
you.
Yeah, that doesn't really work.
Here's an example: 343.
Ah, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
as much as they go, oh no, we can do a good Halo game, they haven't really kicked a lot of goals. Like, Reach was, to me, one of the last really fucking good ones. 4 was meh. 5, I don't think we really talk about 5. And
No.
Infinite is a bit of a fucking dumpster fire.
Look, I liked Infinite. I definitely think Infinite shows a good, like, if you can keep going this way, you might get somewhere. But it's only it's an indicator of a direction, not a, this was a good game. It's a turn away from 5 towards something better. But you're not there yet.
No. That Infinite is literally just the 180 turnaround. It hasn't taken a step away from it yet.
No.
It's just a turnaround. That's fucking it. It's still got a long fucking way to go.
Oh, yeah.
So, as much as they can fix it, they probably won't, though.
But I'm presuming that's what they're banking on, if that was what they were doing. So, I know, we can come in and be the heroes and get the people back. Like, it won't work that way.
But
every
even
executive
in
thinks
actual
it will.
gameplay, they've nerfed the fucking support players, so you can't heal from as far or heal as much. So people don't want to play support. And now the load times to actually play the game are fucking massive because there's not enough support players. Because you can only play
They did that
certain...
with Overwatch as well. Like way back in the first game, it was Lucio used to be able to heal everything from across the map. As long as you could see someone, your aura could be healing them, and it was great. And then it's like, now you can only affect it within this small area now. It's like, all right, cool. We're just going to learn to wall ride really well. Like, you can't wall ride anymore. Like, not for as long. Like, what the fuck, man?
It's fun.
But
that's what happens with any long
they've
run game
hamstrung
like that.
a lot of their fucking players. So now no one wants to play support because you're not getting as much of a reward back for playing support. So there's more and more people lined up to get into a game. They only want to play DPS, or no one wants to fucking stand in the background doing the heals because you get fucking nothing for it.
Everyone,
So,
I
and
don't
that's
know
a
why.
fucking
Everyone
game.
always shits on the healer. I had an alt healer every so often, but like in any game, people just shit on the healer. Like, why aren't you doing your job right? Like, I am. You are diving headfirst into fire.
Yeah.
Can you stop that? But
Like, the only way you'd know I'm not doing my job right is when you're actually dead. Until you're dead, I don't need to fucking do shit. I'm keeping you from that point.
exactly. Like when I played Final Fantasy 14, we had our healer as the shot caller, and that was the best thing we ever fucking did. Because like anytime the tank is the shot caller, they just keep running ahead. There is never a chance for healers or anyone to like rest.
Yeah,
Whereas like if your baseline's the fucking healer going that one next, that one next, that one next, it's like fuck yeah, we can get a good pace
if your
going.
DPS or frontline is the shot caller, the entire thing may as well be called Leroy Jenkins and pray.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, at the same time, like, I've played with some healers that get really big on their boots.
Oh yeah,
They'll start giving you the, I choose who lives and dies. Okay, I'm just going to step to the left and not taunt the monster.
So,
Have fun.
oh no, he's the healer. Don't shoot him first.
It's
I'm
like,
gonna
oh
step
no, I
around this
missed
corner.
I missed my timing. Looks like you've got aggro for a bit.
It's just like,
What do you
there's a
mean
gi-
you're
there's-
squishy?
There's a give and take between the two. I do agree.
Oh, yeah.
A lot of healers don't get the respect they deserve, but a lot of them get that big
Oh, yeah.
head.
Way
I'm the one
too
in
big for
charge.
the britches. Fucking oath.
It's like,
I mean,
no,
it happens
fuck
in
off.
all of them as well. Like any class has those dickheads
Yeah,
in it.
absolutely,
Like,
absolutely.
like the tank that Leroy Jenkins every 5 seconds, or the DPS who constantly out aggro's the tank, or that kind of stuff. Can't measure their shit back so they don't get ganked every 3 seconds. Like there's a bunch of them.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But like, to nerf an entire class into the ground that no one wants to play it, to the point where it's at a detriment to every other class that no one can play because no one wants to play this fucking role.
Yeah.
That's a shit show.
Yeah, it is.
That's fucked up.
You should be incentivizing supports.
Yeah,
especially since they take up the most slots. Because I think it's like, there's 2 to 4 slots for them.
Two support, 2 DPS, 1 tank. I think it's the current... Because they decreased the team count from 6 to 5.
Oh, yeah. So this is why I just want to play Darktide, because they at least have that way you can have the same character, or the same class.
I played in the... For anyone who wants to know. I actually played in the beta that was last week for Darktide. And yeah... Because they've changed up the way the character system works, unlike Vermintide, where you're playing characters, now you're playing prisoners who have a class. So you could all play the same class on your own customized prisoner. And there were a couple of times where I was playing the sharpshooter, which is the guy with the las gun. And I had a couple of times where it was just me and 3 other guys with las guns, and it was great, because it's just like laser fire!
Fucking disco this shit.
It was just
it's an actual Disco Inferno.
It was Call of Duty 40k edition. It was great. I loved it.
That is awesome.
SEAL Team 40k. Yeah, no, we're going to have some fun with that. We have been playing Vermintide recently because we fell down that well again.
Yeah, we did. Such a good game. Such a good game. But I'm really looking forward to Darktide. So you definitely, I will definitely have opinions of that at the end of November when it comes out.
Because I miss that kind of stuff in games. Because Overwatch did it when they used to have free play, and it's like, you can just be where the hell you want. But over time, they stopped that from being a thing. Like, it used to be a selectable option that became the roulette game that you could get into occasionally, and now it's just gone. So you can't have SEAL Team 76, you can't have Nothing But May, or anything, or a character like that. And it makes me sad, because it was fucking hilarious to cheese your way through those things. It's half the reason we played.
I mean, like, all the silly party modes that players actually like, they always keep taking out because it's not competitive. Because they want every game to be a fucking esport.
I don't care about competitive. I don't play competitive games because I can't be fucked.
I mean, like, Halo Infinite's multiplayer, they had a mode called Fiesta, where every time you spawned with a random weapon. And that shit was
fucking
tits.
excellent.
Yeah, that sounds like amazing fun.
Because, like, you've got all these people, like, time to kill is real low in Infinite, so you're constantly spawning with something new. And sometimes you drop in with, like, the best gun ever, rocket launchers, gravity hammers.
Rocket launcher and a shotgun. Yeah, fucking oath.
Shit's busted, and you're just a machine. And then other times you'd pop in and be like, I have a needler. Yay!
Yeah.
Hooray! I
Needler
hope I
and
kill
base
someone.
pistol. Shit.
Yeah. That's when you use the base pistol on yourself to start again.
But I mean, like, you throw yourself in combat, you try to get a kill, you probably didn't, you'd respawn and go with something new. It was fucking fun. It's not last time I checked, it wasn't a selectable mode.
I know they all slowly factor towards competitive, and if competitive is your jam, fucking more power to you. I don't care.
Oh, yeah.
It's just not for me.
No.
Because anytime a game becomes, like, a job, it turns off the happy center in my head. And I don't know why.
Yeah,
so why I couldn't do raiding
that.
in WoW. Like, when WoW became, like, the raiding, it is like, you have to do it in this hour. You have to be on this day, this hour. I was like, I ain't fucking doing that. This is a game. I do this for fun. Like,
I even get some games where they jam that many fucking quests and shit on you. It's like, I can't be fucked. I'm done. And then I just turn the fucking game off. And 6 months' time, I go, I'll go back and play that. Oh, fuck. All this shit again?
Yeah.
Pretty much. I just want to murder things, and that's why Vermintide is great.
Yeah,
it's just hordes and hordes of things to smash.
It's
straight up
You
murder.
go from A to B and kill everything in between.
And Darktide is not supremely different, just, with a future setting.
It's funny.
Future
I've seen
setting
a
and
few of the
rechargeable
reviews of the beta from Darktide, and so many of them said it's like Left 4 Dead meets Vermintide. It's like, well, it's very much like Vermintide. Because it's Vermintide in a different skin.
Because it's, made by Fat Shark, who
Yeah.
made Vermintide. So, yeah, it probably kind of plays a little like Vermintide.
Yeah, it probably plays very similar. I can't imagine why.
I want to give these guys just different properties now and get them to make the same kind of game, but with that same mentality, or what they do, their version of things, their flavor.
Oh, look, Left 4 Dead is the perennial goat of that genre, and that's fair. Like, I'm not even
Yeah.
going to pretend it isn't. It basically birthed the genre in its current iteration, and then perfected it with Left 4 Dead 2.
Yeah.
So, respect to the OG, but Fat Shark with Vermintide, like, they took that formula and ran.
Yeah.
And if the beta for Dark Tide is anything more than what I played, it's going to do it again.
Yeah, if this does well, I just want to see them branch out outside of the Warhammer universe and like other things would be interesting.
Well, I think the problem is the Warhammer universe is very suited to this genre.
Yeah, you'd have to branch out into other things like vampirism or that kind of stuff. Zombies has been done, let's be honest, but vampirism.
Well, I mean, we're already getting the
werewolves or-
vampirism one from Arcane.
Yeah,
I can't remember what it's called off the top of my head, but yeah, Arcane's doing the horde shooter, but vampires.
which
What
would be
about
fun.
a Vermintide style doing fucking the Terminator universe? You run through, you got to kill fucking Terminators and shit.
Yeah, but
I'd
then
be
I
okay
don't know,
with
there
that.
hasn't been a good fucking Terminator game. I can't
no,
think of a good fucking Terminator game.
Salvation. No,
There's a
not
fucking
Salvation.
wasn't bad.
No,
movie tie-in.
wait, no. I'm getting my games mixed up. Hang on a minute. Let me look at my game library. There's one. There's one.
I haven't played a good fucking Terminator game anyway.
Fair, yeah. But like
Oh.
that, or even just a like machine uprising horde game would be fun. Like I imagine Fat Shark would do some fucking hilarious shit with it.
I'd like to do a game that just doesn't have fucking zombies. I'm well and
Oh,
truly
I'm
over
so done with
zombies.
I'm done with zombies so much.
Terminator Resistance.
Oh yeah, that wasn't too bad.
Yeah, Terminator
Wasn't-
Resistance is pretty good.
It wasn't amazing, but
After
it
being
was...
burned so many times at Terminator, I haven't even looked at a fucking Terminator game in years.
I only looked at it because I saw a bunch of people playing it online. It was like, that actually looks pretty good.
All I know is I did. The last time I played a Terminator game was when I had to write an assignment on one back in uni, and I shit on that game hard. It was bad. It was horrible.
Oh yeah, absolute trash.
But the thing is, I backed everything up with what the teacher had taught me, and then I found out after submitting it, the lecturer we had worked on that game. Like he was high up too. It was like he was like decently high up in the industry at the time. And it's like, yeah, no, I worked on that. And I'm like, cool, you made a shit game, and I've just written a 6,000 word essay explaining why you wrote a shit game. Weirdly enough, he gave me a distinction, so it worked out quite well. But we need to. Like, I would love more just Terminator stuff that was decent.
The vampire one that's coming from Arcane's called Redfall.
Actually, I do have that one on my wish list.
Yeah,
Though-
that's horde shooter but vampires.
We may have to give that a shot then.
I mean, it can't yeah. I mean, like the attempt by the same devs to try and make Left 4 Dead again in Back 4 Blood, I don't think worked.
Yeah.
I wasn't a big fan of
It
that.
hasn't hit
Well-
the same market share that fucking Left 4 Dead did.
Not even
Left 4
close.
Dead
We normally cycle through the original monsters, I swear. It's like, either we end up with the undead, so vampirism, Frankensteins, that kind of stuff. Then it moves on to vampires, and then it loops back around to werewolves, and then eventually we'll get mummies again. Like, we just kind of cycle through them.
Provided, like, Mummies brings back Brendan Fraser, like, even
Yeah.
more. I can live
I'm
with that.
okay with that.
I mean, the man's back in movies and TV shows, so
Oh, he is, but he still needs more presence.
a
absolutely.
lovely human being and deserves all the things he gets. Like, all the videos of him just breaking down at conventions, it's like, you poor boy. What,
Oh, when he
the world has fucked over him so much.
when he realized that there was this huge, like, he didn't know that, like, everyone was like, oh my god, he's back, he's the best.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Until someone at a convention showed him, like, the Reddit threads, and then there's just him breaking down.
Yeah, because like he's had some shit go down
Yeah, he has.
recently, and he's just been in like a bad way. And it's just like, no. There are a large portion of people that love you dearly. Just,
I mean,
fuck you.
He's cameo episodes in Scrubs. Like,
Ah,
for a TV show that's meant to be a comedy that has a great fucking cast through it, to absolutely steal that fucking show and not just go, oh fuck that happened, but to make you like sit back and go, I don't know if I want to watch another one. Like,
yeah.
this one burned me hard.
Scrubs was notorious for that, though. It was like funny,
Fucking
funny, shatter your entire perception of everything, and now you're sad forever.
I think that's why
funny.
It worked though because you were never really ready for the brutal episode.
No. And most of those brutal episodes were written or directed by the cast members.
Yeah.
Which is just fucking cool. I think Zach Braff did the one with Brendan Fraser in it.
Yeah.
He did a couple of those, and like they're usually the ones that they get more awards, or like they're the episodes that sort of stand out, which is just really fucking cool.
Oh, I love that stuff. But I think eventually, yeah, we will spring back around. I'm looking forward to the next rise of like horrible werewolf movies. I'd be okay with that. But
I'd be happy with like a Buffy reboot where she does more than fucking vampires. Maybe she'd go through the fucking gambit.
That's why I like Supernatural. At least they branched out into weird mythology towards like the second half.
I've been meaning to watch that, and it's on my fucking list.
Not gonna lie, it's like my guilty pleasure TV show. Like it's Days of Our Lives with like monsters in it. It's fucking hilariously hillbilly and fun.
It feels very background TV while I'm doing other things.
Oh yeah, it is. It's like they rip on themselves so well at the same time. Like the Groundhog Day episode is the greatest thing I've ever seen. And any good series has a Groundhog Day episode. Stargate had one. Supernatural has one where like Dean just keeps dying. And the favorite thing is you just slowly watch Sam just deteriorate because he's trying to keep him alive. And just, all right, we're not going anywhere. We're staying in the apartment. All right, it's fine. I'm going to have a shower. And you just hear like the shower going. Sam's watching out, like, you know, staring at the parking lot. There's someone's going to come. And all you hear, if you have the subtitles on, it's even better. It's a thud and a crack. So it's like Dean slipped in the shower and breaks his neck, and just the defeated look on Sam is like, this is the greatest thing I have ever fucking seen. Jesus.
Although I do love that that thing from like one of the Reddit things about Supernatural where they're like, why don't they just like fill a bunch of hula hoops with salt and just like hula their way through the enemies?
I love the fact they bring that up in a couple of episodes where they start. That there is because Supernatural in the Supernatural universe exists, because some guy he was prophesizing them, so he was tuned in on their adventures and started writing really shitty books. So there's like an entire Supernatural convention in Supernatural, and they turn up to it at one point and then completely just hate everything because everyone who plays Dean's trying to be the gruff voice. He's like, I don't talk like that. It's just constantly great. They lose the lookalike contest. It's great. It's a really fun one. But they bring up those things at the convention Q&A. It's like, why don't they just have hula hoops of salt? Or it's like, well, it's just dumb. And they answered that one. But the best one is, it was like, why don't they just put their like guns on bungees? So because they keep getting knocked away from them at crucial times. And Dean just looks at Sam's like, that's the greatest idea I've ever fucking heard. But they never do it. It fucking frustrates me. But,
Yeah,
well, that was a fun tangent.
I feel like we're into the back half of the episode, so I feel like we should move on to what was going to be the topic for this episode once we got through all the news stuff. Where we're going to talk about some books, because we're giant fucking nerds, and before we were recording, we started looking at books. And
it's a very slow news week, but books are always interesting.
Yeah.
Like, the preamble to this one was mostly us just going through our Audible list, because we were told we could organize the fucking things now. It's like, we can do it. Yes, done.
Yeah, you can put books in categories. Oh my god!
So OCD gremlin all of us read his head. Right? Yes.
And we started talking about books we've been reading, and I've been reading a lot of the 10 Realms and some other stuff, and about how some books they tend to just sort of like you can feel them PDing out. They're not the wheels are spinning, but no motion's happening.
Yeah.
And that's kind of where some of the books I've read in the past have gotten to, and we started talking about that, and we figured, let's have a chit-chat about some of the books that we've had that either did that or managed to, like, last-minute dodge it. And at some point, I'm probably going to have a bitch about Harry Potter, because I always do when we talk about this sort of thing, because goddamn that book series.
Like, for me, the book series that's still going, which I think really needs to wrap up, I love this book series. It's just the Dresden Files.
Yeah, like, absolutely.
The power creep in that book series is getting a bit weird to the point where it's like he's almost godlike. It's like, you wrap this up, do something with it.
He's already jumped the shark.
Yeah,
Like,
Well,
it's
he
a
jumped the
point
shark
where-
and it just kept going.
Yeah.
It was like a combination of jumping the shark and Grease, where they drive off into the sky in the car at the end. Just Fonzie on the back just keeps going forever.
I
Yeah.
feel like the Dresden Files has somehow managed to jump the shark while the shark's jumping them while they're jumping that shark at the same time.
Yeah,
They
like,
jump
just
a
circling
shark
each other.
on a shark that's jumping a shark.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it just keeps getting bigger and bigger. He interacts with more godlike beings, makes friends with, like, the god of the underworld at one point. It's like, this shit's getting out of control. Wrap it up, do something different.
the last
Because he's got
one-
other books that are great.
The last one I remember reading, he was at a point where he was dealing with the most ancient Fae, talking about this eternal war they have with the outsiders, which if they ever lose it, all of reality is destroyed. And it's just a casual Friday as far as the book is concerned.
Pretty much. By that point, that is just a generic Tuesday. It's like, alright, cool. That sounds interesting. I
It's
guess
just
that's
like-
my job now.
Which is irritating because it all ties into the He Who Walks Behind, which has been like a long-running thing in the series that we've been waiting to find out about. We find out it's to do with this thing, and it's just some thing that is so much bigger and beyond us. It's just like, oh, okay. What fucking ever.
Right, we hit Prophecy Town. But it's still a great series. I
Oh,
love
yeah.
it. But
Love
the
it,
same
Joseph.
author,
That
Jim
issue
Butcher.
is that issue with like where do we go from here is a big problem with the whole lit RPG fucking series.
Oh, yeah.
I've been reading a lot of them, but because they're usually written on Royal Road or Reddit or wherever the fuck they're done, and it starts off as a writing prompt or something small where someone goes, "Oh, I've got an idea," and they bang out a book or two, but it was never planned out. It was never planned to have an ending. It was just I've got this thing. And so each consecutive book, oh, we did this in the last one. We can't go smaller. We have to go bigger.
Yeah.
And because there's no endpoint planned out for it, or how many books they're going to do, or an overarching story with a lot of it, it ends up happening fucking often.
I mean,
Well, like, where I wouldn't mind things going with those kinds of books is not just ramping the power scale, but show a different perspective. Just bugger off with the side character for a while and give them an adventure, round them out a bit more.
But then you'll probably get people bitching about why aren't we doing the character that I've been reading all the books about.
Yeah.
Well, then you'll end up with the space bounty, the bounty hunters. You put me onto it, Seth.
Oh, the Black Ocean.
Yeah, Black Ocean. Then you'll end up with that, like a 2 offshoot series that it's like these offshoots are good, but they're not as good as the original.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, generally, I think the one that did it well was it Monster Hunters International?
Yeah.
Because there's 2 books at the start were Pitt and his things, and then it's like, alright, cool, we're going to focus on, like, the other guy now for a bit. And he gets his own book.
The Harbinger and Frank's got their own books.
Yeah, and they're great. They're amazing, because they were interesting characters.
His wife got one too.
Yeah. So it's like, oh, we had this chosen one character. Alright, his story is done. He's done the thing he needed to do. Hey, look, there's other shit in this universe that's fun. And off they went. It added a bit more depth to that series.
I think the thing they really had there though is like you wanted to know more about Earl and
it had to be
Frank's.
foreshadowed in a way.
And their plots played into what ultimately was the bigger plot that came after their books.
Yeah.
I think so many, as you say, John Doe, with the lit RPG stuff, when they do side characters, because they weren't planning anything, they just sort of had another idea and wrote a book.
Yeah.
It doesn't tend to pan out as well, and tends to just be like, can we just sort of like back on target?
If they took a couple of books and did offshoot stories of side characters, but the plot points for those were pretty much side quests of the primary plot were and then a book where they all come back in together for all of this.
Yeah.
Then you've spent probably 4 books learning about these other people and their capabilities, and then you bring them back in with the main character. It's like, holy fuck, this is the team. Like, this is the Avengers coming together to kick the shit out of the fucking big bad.
I mean,
Because then you could do things interestingly where each one has dealt with the big bad in a different way. Because it's like, when he was over here, he just had a massive army with him. His general was there. So I went and fucked him up with just sheer force. We got more people. Whereas someone else is like, oh man, the shit he had was powerful, could not get near it. So we had to sneak in, do other things.
Yeah.
And then you bring all that together.
A book or 2 later, you can literally say, all right, we've killed the big bad, the country's safe, game over. Like, literally have the last page of the fucking game over screen. Credits.
within
Insert coins.
within two series, there's actually a really great example of that. If you look at Ten Realms versus He Who Fights with Monsters. Ten Realms tends to do the thing where they just start talking about another character, and it's so tangential. It's like, yes, it's world building. Yes, it's kind of building somewhere, but the character isn't being explored. It's just plot dump, but with another character other than the main characters.
Yeah.
Then you look at something like He Who Fights with Monsters. Particularly, I'm in the second book, and I'm at a point where they're doing a big trial, and a lot of the characters have been split up. And now we're learning about how these characters, who we've only ever had interact as their own team, are now having to adapt their skills, which are very specific to the team they're part of, to other teams. So we're seeing a growth of the characters working in an adverse situation, which is much more interesting.
Yeah.
And particularly in that series, like the main team they develop is meant to be highly versatile, that doesn't work in a team that's built specifically to go out and cause DPS or go out and hunt big fucking monsters. They're a group of people that can either spread damage over a large area or hit like one thing, or like they're good at general stuff but no one good thing in particular. And then you're in a team where they have to be more specialized. It's interesting how like these whole characters we've grown to know have to change completely, and then they take that, and then when they all do come back together, how much that fucking changes them. Like, oh shit, I learned how to do this while I was trying to do this with these people over here who couldn't do what you could do. I had to fucking change. Yeah. And that was fucking really cool character growth in that.
Yeah.
Nice.
So it's and I think, like, and it's going to sound weird given the fact that to this day, the guy writing Who Fights with Monsters still does 3 pages a week, and you get them on his Patreon. So he's still doing this, but it feels so much more planned. And that's not to shit on Ten Realms. I still really like the series. I'll still read the last book, but we are hitting a bit of a point where I feel like some of it's like, oh, I've got to drop out some plot that I need
to actually have an end point here.
And they're red flagging the end of the book series really hard. Yeah. So I'm looking forward to still finishing it, but like, ooh, they really need you to know that we're done. We're done.
Well, Shodalin, the bloke who does He Who Fights with Monsters, did an AMA on Reddit a while ago, and people were asking, like, where is this going? Like, what is the point for it? And he brought up this whole thing of, like, when he first started, I think after the second book, he was, like, tapped out. I don't know what the fuck I'm going to do after this point. And then he went out and didn't just write a plot for the next book, but actually put in an overarching story. Like, oh, what have I done? Where can that go? Like, what is the point of all of this? What is that building to? Oh, okay, here's an overarching story that I can actually say, point back to, oh, look, see, there were things back here that sort of hinted at it, and is actually tied books into an overarching story that weren't originally planned for that overarching story. So there are a couple of things like, oh, at the time, not so much. But there is a plan, which is why a lot of it is like, oh, fuck, this actually feels like it had a purpose. Like, I haven't just gone over here for no particular fucking reason. And, I think that's like, it feels very different to every other book in that style of, like, the lit RPG genre.
Yeah. And that's important. And, like, screw it. This has got to come up at some point. I'm going to shit on Harry Potter. If you don't want to hear it, skip, because I'm going to be a bitch for a bit. Because J.K. Rowling keeps saying she had the whole thing planned. Like, the whole set of books. Planned. You cannot read that set of books and get to the Deathly Hallows and not be like, what?
There was a sharp tone shift to that one.
Sharp tone shift, and the entire thing hinges on a bunch of information that the characters should have already been talking about. It should not have been coming up in this book.
Something they should have known for a fucking while. Like,
the one I always point to is like all the wizards know the story of the Deathly Hallows. They treat it like, when they actually bring it up in the book, it's like, yeah, man, it's a kid's story. We all know the story. Yeah. And the big one in that story is that one of the characters gets Death's cloak, which is a perfect invisibility cloak. In the fucking setting, cloaks of invisibility aren't perfect. They're near perfect, but they're not perfect.
They're was a predator camo.
Yeah.
Essentially.
So the fact that Harry has a perfect one should have red flagged to someone way fucking sooner.
Yeah.
Let alone the fact that in, book 5, I think it is, when Luna shows up, whose dad is part of the fucking society that loves these things, should have immediately gone, what the fuck do you have a Deathly Hallow for?
Yeah.
Or like, when Harry gets given it, whoever gave it to him knew exactly what the fuck that was.
Which was
Like,
Dumbledore.
It was Dumbledore doing dumb shit.
Like, straight, a lot of that entire book series could have been fixed immediately just with Dumbledore not being Dumbledore.
Pretty much. Like, no, if you read back, Dumbledore's a dick. Like,
Yeah.
a massive fucking dick the entire time. He raises, like, Potter to die, essentially. It's like, that's fine. We need him around because that prophecy. You are now a tool to me. Let's have some fun.
It's
What the fuck?
It's not a good series of books. I'm sorry.
No.
It is a
not
good
well written.
entry point for kids. Like, it's a great entry point into modern fantasy and that kind of
Or
stuff. 'Cause that
getting
can lead
kids
on
to
with
read.
shit. Yeah.
Look, I know I'm shitting on it, but I will actually, to some degree, defend all the way out through Goblet of Fire. But that's because that was everything that seemed like it had a plan. Once you get past Goblet of Fire into Order of the Phoenix, Half-Blood Prince, and Deathly Hallows, that's where everything just sort of freewheels off the freeway.
Yeah.
It's like, we've got a rough idea, and it's somewhere within a 45-degree direction. So you just keep driving, and you might hit something eventually.
Yeah,
Pretty much.
It's really irritating, and that's why I'm a little worried about Ten Realms, because book 9 of that does a lot of Deathly Hallows shit, where it's like, oh, here's the real plot that you didn't know was happening, because we've apparently artificially prevented anybody else from knowing what it is.
Yeah, and the entire point of it is like, no, this is shit you should have been telling everyone through the entire fucking realms, because this is the entire fucking purpose of life, the meaning of the universe.
Yeah.
But
So
no.
it's very weird choice, but in Ten Realms it fits better. There's a lot more setup for why it's like that. Unlike Harry Potter, where I will never believe, no matter how many times she says it, that J.K. Rowling planned that entire series. It doesn't read like that even a little bit.
Yeah.
On the other hand, you want decent child magic fiction, go read The Circle of Magic. That series is absolutely fantastic. And it has 2 follow-up series, which I think are exactly what needed to happen, and this thing that's missing mostly when I see these sort of like young wizard urban fiction stories. Because you have The Circle of Magic, which is the 4 kids learning magic at a magic school. Then you have The Circle Opens, which is the 4 kids going off to do studies outside of the school, where they get their own students, so they now become teachers. And then you have The Circle Reforged, which is the 4 characters coming back together, having had lots of life experience and seeing how they've changed and becoming new friends.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. I've never heard of that series, but that actually sounds pretty
It's
fucking
actually
decent.
a young adult series, so it's definitely in the same wheelhouse, like difficult to read wise as Harry Potter. It's really chill. It's by Tamara Pierce. She's a great author. Actually, it's one of the series that this is going to sound really weird, particularly coming from a pasty white guy. It's got a really good set of novels, I think, that young girls should read, because they have the Lioness Quartet, which is it's set in a medieval setting, and it's the first female who tries to become a king's knight. And finding her own strength and all that kind of stuff. And the first half is the first set of books is the first girl trying it, and then the second set of books is the first girl after that girl. Like, that girl becomes a knight, and then girls are allowed to become knights now. And then the next set of books is the first girl to take that up and try and follow her example.
Was that recently done as like a movie on, was it Netflix, or where the fuck was that on?
I don't know if it has.
But there's very much that plot and story recently in a movie on something.
I might have to.
I'll have to look that up. But it's like the princess wants to become a knight, but her father goes, "No, you need to be married off to this fucking dirty ass mob over here." And then that dirty mob invades pretty much, and she's locked in the tower, and fuck this shit. And then she proceeds to work her way down the tower by killing everyone pretty much, then saves everyone.
This isn't.
That sounds fun, though.
This is a girl who literally sneaks away from her family to go to night school, and I think, if I recall, it's just the manservant she brought along with her that at the start of the book knows that she's a girl, and he does everything he can to help her. But it's really good because it's this well written, like, she never stops being a girl, but she shows all these guys that fuck you, I'm both. Yeah. It's really well written, and it doesn't come across. It doesn't have any of that like this was written before all the woke culture we have now. Actually, it probably would be called woke now. I guess
political correctness.
But I just read it, and I loved it, and I'm a pasty white guy, and I was like, yeah, let's go. I'm in for this girl beating the shit out of these dudes at night stuff.
Excellent.
It's fantastically written. Tamara Pierce is a great author, but I'm a big fan of the Circle of Magic. Anytime people are like Harry Potter's like the definitive kids in a wizard school, I'm like, fuck you, there's a way better series. The Circle of Magic is great.
But like, of series that I have for like young adults, like I have nieces, and when they hit a certain point, I'm sending them just certain series to read. One of them is done by Jim Butcher, which is more or less the like the same guy who did the Dresden Files, but it's a great 5 books. It ends. It has an actual ending, a very nice, neat ending as well. There's no real room to throw more in unless you skip ahead to a new generation of stuff. And the idea of it is, in a world where in this nation, everyone has elemental powers. Not just for one element, but for multiple. And they control elemental beings as well. One kid doesn't have any of that. He's just a normal dude. And he just keeps getting roped into doing incredibly dangerous shit. It's a lot of fun. It's really good. And the characters, there's enough wit in it to keep you laughing at certain things. And the characters are always engaging. It's like, yes, when I hit a certain point, this is going to my nieces, and they will read through that series.
Yeah, but one day your nieces are going to get this giant, like, 12-kilo package, and it's just going to be every Terry Pratchett novel.
Oh, yeah, that day is rapidly approaching, to be honest. Like, the eldest has reached a point that you could probably understand some of the themes in here. So, I'm start drip-feeding it in.
Like, there was a book
They become heirlooms.
Yeah. I want to get the really fancy ones, the hardcover Live Forever books.
Nice. There was a book series I read that actually got a follow-up series that was stupid. So bad. It was a series called The Saga of Seven Sons. Oddly enough, 7-book series. Absolute, for me, pinnacle of space opera. Like, It's got this massive ensemble cast. It spreads across the galaxy. I mean, you still love the Romas from that book series, Swoosh.
Oh, they're great. I love the Romas.
They're a bunch of guys who basically just was like their generational ship didn't hit a planet, so they just decided, well, fuck it, we'll live in this asteroid belt.
And then they fixed the ship and just kept it going. And they just started dropping essentially sci-fi caravan parks across the entire galaxy.
Pretty much, and because they live in all this adverse conditions, they become like adept at like, oh hey, we want to set up a base on a planet that's made of magma, so that we can scrape heavy metals off of the top of the lava and then shoot them into space for pickup. Yeah. Everyone else is like, you're fucking nuts. And they're like, bitch, we did it.
It works. Like, we did the thing, and now we're making money.
But, like, that whole series is really good, and it gets to a logical endpoint for the series, and it's good. And then the guy who wrote it decided, you know what, I'm going to do a follow-up series. And it's just like, what is this? This is like a whole bunch of, like, stub ideas from the main series that, you know, they're not bad ideas to explore, but no one was asking for it.
Yeah. We were done. We were okay with not having more of this. Like, but you have more. It just seems like, oh, my bank account's looking a bit light.
Look, that dude is prolific. Kevin J. Anderson has written a lot of books, mostly in like StarCraft and stuff like that. He's written a bunch of books. This is one of his original settings, and it's just good. I would highly recommend anyone who just wants a good, like, fun, but it's broad. Like, there's a lot of characters. You're going to need to kind of keep a pretty good Refidex names in your head. But, like, across the whole series, it's absolutely fantastic. Like I said, it is the pinnacle of this, for me, and I haven't read anything else that's as good, the pinnacle of the space opera genre.
Whilst I do love that writing style of having a broad range of casts that chops and changes between, sometimes that isn't always great. Like, have you ever had a book where it's just there's that one character, and it's like, I don't care about the things you're doing. I know there's plot in here. It's the only reason I'm listening to it. But it's like, you are a bad person. I don't like you as a character. just holding out to get to the next chapter. I was like, I'm gonna read this. Then you get this like another chapter of them. Like, why? And you know, that's the Demon Saga.
Or there's a point in that that's major, like, point for the plot. You needed to have read that, but you're still like, fuck me, just get through it. Give this plot point to someone else.
Yeah.
I had that with one character in the Demon Saga, which is a great series. Like, I love that series. Like, every night demons rise from the core and just start slaughtering everyone. It's good fun. But one of the characters, the chick who's a part of them, is just a massive dick to this kid that's always following her around, is literally in love with her, like, always pursuing after her. I was like, yeah, I'll lead him on forever, and then just let him die somewhere. It's fine. This is great. It's like, why?
And those characters that are just unnecessary dickery, at least have a purpose for what you're doing. Like, you've got a goal. You've actually got something you're working on yourself, not just, I'm going to be a dick just because I can be a dick. It's like, I really give zero fucks about this character. At least have some sort of fucking redeeming feature.
I mean, the big problem I find is a lot of books that have those characters, they tend to get redeemed later. And I'm not saying that doesn't work. God, I feel like I'm shitting on the Ten Realms a lot, but I actually found that with a couple of characters in that book. When they first meet them, a number of them, because they're within the rigid systems of the Ten Realms, and they haven't been broken out of the mold by Eric and Rugrat yet, they're very uninteresting. And then it's later, once they've been around these characters and experienced what they do and how they live and yada yada yada, that they actually start becoming their own characters and they're much more interesting. And I'm like, yes, I'm in for what you've got to do, but fuck, you were unnecessary at the start.
Yeah. It's a lot of that felt like we just need to mention this character and have them here, so later on we reference back to them. Here's your point.
Yeah. The big problem being, like, so many books, the point never happens. They're just And I mean, let's face it. The ultimate one of that is goddamn Jar Jar Binks. You excise that character entirely, and you lose nothing.
Yeah.
I still maintain they should have... Like, there was a theory going around that Jar Jar Binks was meant to be the Sith Lord the entire time. It's the dumbest thing ever, and I love it, though. Because, like, someone's gone back, and apparently every time people make dumb decisions in the Phantom Menace, you can see Jar Jar is moving and doing stuff and talking. Like, whoa, he's force manipulating. It's like, no, he's just an idiot. But I would honestly have really enjoyed if they made a recut of it, which is just that. Like, just,
it's the same as there was that theory that 3PO was meant to be like a spy droid, because there's a whole heap of cut scenes of him removing signs when they're on Hoth, and the stormtroopers run through and they go through the wrong door, and oh fuck, there's a Rancor in that room, or there's a fucking thing over here, and he's gone through and removed all of these signs, or he's changed something. Like, that was scenes that would have been cool to leave in there, to add a different fucking look on that character.
Then there's fan theories of other stuff, like Chewie and R2 being rebel agents from the get-go.
Yeah.
But, like, see, like, the C-3PO one I like, because, like, that feels like doing something interesting with the character. The Jar Jar Binks as a Sith Lord, that's just shit posting.
Yeah.
Like, if he was a Sith Lord, he'd be the shittiest one. He wouldn't be interesting or clever.
Yeah, that's trying to make something interesting out of an unnecessary character.
Yeah. Pretty much. Like, they've tried super hard.
Not adding something to a character or looking at a different way they could be doing what they're doing. It's just, we need this character to be something more than shit.
At least with, like, 3PO, you can kind of see that working, to be honest. Because, like, if you are if you're royalty and you have a protocol droid with you, no way in hell that thing's not also programmed to murder the shit out of people.
Yeah.
Like, that's it. Just, why the hell not?
He's built by Anakin from the get-go. Like, you would have upgraded the fuck at him. Like, would have been so much more done to it. Or could have been, if they'd fucking gone that way with it. But
Now, imagine all the original movies, except instead of 3PO, it's K2.
That'd be fun. K2 would be great.
That shit would be dope.
Those movies would be a lot fucking shorter.
I know they
really
would.
Like, just, and calling everyone meatbag, even better.
Yeah, just straight up.
I mean, that's if you, like, I mean, now we're getting into the, let's remove C-3PO and put HK in.
Yeah.
I'd
be okay with HK
That's a
running
dream.
around.
That's a pipe dream.
Yeah. Anyway, on that dream, we're at past an hour, so I think we'll wrap things up. Y'all have a good one.
Goodbye.
See ya.